Monday morning, everybody. This is Run It Back. We are a show that talks about basketball. Chandler, Lou, how are we feeling on this Monday?
Pretty good. Good morning. What's up with you?
Okay, I love that for us. Yep. We're doing it. We got Tim Hardaway Sr. coming on a little bit later. I'm sure he'll have some opinions about what went on in Dallas, but we start with the big game of the weekend. It was almost like it was the 80s again. Lakers, Celtics. Tatum leads his team to win 111-101. He finished with 40, 12 and 8. Jaylen Brown with 31. Luka, 34, 8 and 3. Now, LeBron did have the 22 points, the 14 rebounds, and his 9 assists. However, the story, unfortunately, in this one is that he did have to leave the fourth quarter with a groin injury. Shams, shout out, is expecting him to be reevaluated 1 to 2 weeks, maybe. Second in the West right now. They look amazing. And I'm wondering, Chandler, what do they look like without him, at least for the next week or two?
It obviously hurts when you take a LeBron James off any team. They're going to be worse. But I think this is a perfect time. And I think this is great long term for the rest of the season for Luka to get his rhythm, for him to get going. Obviously, we know he missed some time before he got traded. Now he's coming. He's kind of trying to get his feet wet, trying to get everybody else involved. This is a great opportunity for him to fully have the keys, get his legs, get his kind of conditioning all in tip-top shape, kind of going down the stretch of the season. So honestly, I think it might work to their favor. You still have guys like Austin Reeves that can go get you a bucket and carry an offense. So they'll definitely be tested. I'm not saying they're better without LeBron James because that's not even close to the truth. But I think it long-term might help them out that Luka can finally get these, couple weeks under his belt to play those big minutes, have even more usage rate, and continue to get his rhythm back.
What do you think, Lou?
Yeah, yep. I'm agreeing with Chandler. Only thing for me is I think they're going to go through the ringer. These next couple of weeks are going to be a challenge. And I've said that their roster is kind of paper thin for me. Like, they're really good with the guys that they have on the floor. But when you have to outsource and continue on with this schedule, where do you go from here? Do you give Cam Reddish an opportunity? Do you give Markieff Morris an opportunity to kind of fill in what's needed when you have a LeBron James go out of this lineup, especially when you don't have the depth that a lot of teams in the Western Conference do have? The first half of that schedule is kind of favorable for them, so I think they'll be fine there. Once you get into game 5 or 6, as we just showed, it can get a little tricky for the Los Angeles Lakers. And I mentioned this last week. They're one injury away from being a really good team to going through some real turbulence right here. So we'll see how they survive this, how they keep going. But I agree with Chandler. This is a great opportunity for Luka to show and prove who he is to the Laker Nation.
I mean, Chandler, look, they play the Nuggets twice in that little stretch there. I think the worst case is what? They switch spots with Denver during the time that LeBron's out? That seems like it's going to flip-flop.
Yeah, and it's so close between, honestly, 2 through 5. You can look at the standings here. It's all pretty jumbled up there. But I think if they can get out 500 or a game above 500 this stretch, it's also good that there are 3 back-to-backs and that their 40-year-old LeBron James does not have to play in. So, again, I see light at the end of the tunnel here. I think this is a great opportunity that LeBron's going to get the proper rest that he clearly needs. Luka's going to get the reps that he clearly needs. And again, we're talking about the Lakers they're in the 2 seed right now. This season has already been kind of unexpected. They've gotten so much better. They're now defending at a high level. So I think this is a great opportunity to see what these guys are made of without LeBron James on the floor.
The Lakers, without LeBron, they did cut a 20-point deficit out. And I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this, because the Celtics' MO has sort of been get up big and then either win or end up losing after being up double digits. So when you see the Lakers without LeBron on the floor be able to come back the way they did, Lou, and we're talking about them like contenders now, what does that do as far as your contender hopes for the Lakers? The fact that they can get out of that.
Yeah, they've shown they're a competitive team and they're going to compete with the best of the best from the Western Conference to the Eastern Conference. They've shown you that. But can they finish? Even though they cut that lead down, they were still down a dub, right? And so still being down, still putting themselves in a position, it's still not enough, especially at this point in the season. We're in the fourth quarter of the year where everybody is pretty much figuring out where they're going to be in the standings, where they're going to be with seeding and where they're going. So this is a bad time to have this injury, but it's again, you can have some optimism about the things that they were able to do against Boston, but they didn't finish the job. That's going to be the concern.
And I guess you can look at this and kind of look, we can play good without LeBron James, because they did claw and they did fight back in that game. And that third quarter was ugly. I think they scored 13 points and they had 6 or 7 turnovers, shooting like 20% from the field. That can't happen for that 12-minute stretch. So you can blame that, on whatever you want. But that's when Luka's got to take control. Austin Reeves got to get control. They got to slow it down a little bit. They got to get to the free throw line. They got to not turn the ball over and get back in transition defense, because that's where they kind of got exposed during this game. They did bounce back. They had a great, I think they scored 13 in the third and then 34 or something in the fourth. So they made it a game. They continued to fight and show resilience. But I think this is a great test for them going into the playoffs, looking at home court advantage of what they can do without LeBron James. Because again, we talk about his age. We don't know how long this guy's going to be around, hopefully for a lot more time. But this is a great chance for everyone on that roster to step up and like Lou said, show Laker Nation what they got.
This is a Al Horford appreciation show, and it's about that time of year where we start to ramp it up, the Horford talk. They targeted him, but they shot 7 of 23 against Horford. Luka and LeBron collectively went 3 of 14, Chandler. I love that I have now talked about Al Horford 4 times in the last week. This is good stuff. How big a part of the Celtics is he?
It makes me feel so old, because he's older. He's my host on my visit at Florida, and he is still absolutely rolling. He's still so valuable. He's expanded his game to where now he's a great pick and pop efficient 3-point shooter. He can switch 1 through 5 and move his feet and guard guards. He can obviously guard bigs. He's a great dude. So he's been so solid his whole career. And what he provides for the Celtic team now is just that safety, that luxury of having that veteran leadership with this stud team, the starting lineup, where you can just kind of plug him in. You can start him. You can bring him off the bench. He can be in the game and closing lineup. So it really is. It's so impressive, that he's still doing it at this clip, and he's taking care of his body. He's always been healthy and in shape, and it's showing. And he's another one of these guys that we take advantage, and we don't realize how great he's been for such a long time. And he's still so important with the injuries to Porzingis too. Is kind of always in and out of the lineup. He's been so solid for them.
Does he make you feel old, Lou? I hope not.
I know I am old, but it's so great, man. I had the pleasure of playing with Al for a few seasons. And when you talk about somebody that's sturdy, right? Like, he never gets rattled. He's never too high, never too low. Great locker room guy, great guy to be a teammate with, somebody that I just enjoy working side by side with. So it's amazing to see him still being able to compete at this level, not only on the offensive end, but on the defensive end. He took a lot of challenges. He was sitting down guarding Luka. He was sitting down guarding Bron before he got hurt. He was making open shots, making contested shots, man. So it's amazing to see. I'm 38, and like Chandler just mentioned, that was his host on his visit. I know Al is upwards of 39, 40 years old. He's probably, we're peers in that nature, but it's just amazing to see so many of these guys late in their age like this being as productive as they are, especially Al Horford.
Do you remember there was that report like last week, I think, where they said that the Mavs traded Luka, and there have been a lot of reports, but they traded Luka because Jaylen Brown shut him down. Do you think the Celtics are scared of Luka?
They don't have a shortage of reasons for trading Luka.
I mean, I feel like I have to remember which reason was this. Oh yeah, does it have anything to do with Jaylen Brown? Because at the end of the day, he still had 34 on 11 of 22. So I don't. Are they scared of him?
So at the end of the day, he had 34 and was 50% from the field, and that's why they traded him.
So can we get rid of that one? That was not real. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, let's go ahead and toss that one.
Let's try a new one. Let's keep rolling. Let's try a new one.
Make up something else.
So many reports. It was a good game. And Jayson Tatum afterwards said that the rivalry is still alive. It's still going, guys. Do you agree, Lou?
Absolutely. If you've ever been a part of this, you know that this is a real thing, and there's a lot of pride on both sides. So when these two teams match up twice a year, there is a lot on the line, and this is for bragging rights. and especially if they have an opportunity to meet in the finals where it really matters. But you can see it. It was a lot of pride being shown, a lot of chest beating, a lot of guys playing at a high clip, trying to compete at a high level. This is one of those matchups that gets everybody going. That is appointment TV, where you can get your family to sit down, get your kids to sit down and watch a good basketball game with you, and you know what you're gonna get out of it. So it was fun to see these guys competing at this level and having that pride in the purple and gold, and also the Celtic green as well.
Yeah, this is just tradition on tradition. These are two legendary teams, and let's face it, it helps that they're both good. So like Lou said, there's a chance that we could possibly see this finals highest rated, NBA finals of all time if it happens to be the Lakers versus the Celtics, which would be really cool. But yeah, I think it's the best. I think anytime it's the Lakers, the Celtics, or the Knicks, it's one of those three teams that kind of has that prestigious traditional legacy of the franchise. It's got to be one of those. Obviously, the Warriors are up there, but Lakers, Celtics. I mean, come on, this has been years and years and years of rivalries and big time games. So yeah, it's great. And obviously, there's some stretches where they weren't so good and competitive, but yeah, right now we're talking 2 in the East versus 2 in the West. Got to be the best rivalry.
At the moment, yeah, it's got the history attached to it. Young kids don't care, but the older ones, the oldies do. There's some hot headlines.